YouTube, Salivate Metal here with a very interesting article from the BBC News about a rare 6th century pendant that was found by a metal detectorist. This article comes to us as a link sent to me by one John Forjones. Certainly appreciate him sending this along. And this is quite a fascinating find. This is an Anglo-Saxon pendant that was found in a field near Attleborough in England. Very recently. This is dated 19th August, so just a few days ago, actually. And it's quite fascinating because in the United Kingdom, there's so much history there that it's probably not uncommon for metal detectorists to find old things in the ground. Whether or not they're valuable is sort of a moot point because the history that's there is fascinating. But this one happens to have a bit of both. This is a rare 6th century gold pendant featuring images from a Byzantine coin that has been found by the metal detectorist more than 1,500 years after being made. Look at the condition it is in as well. The early Anglo-Saxon pendant is imprinted with an image of Emperor Justinian and is thought to have been made in France. It was found by Godfrey Pratt in a field near Attleborough, Norfolk. And just an idea of where it is on the map here that we can see here. Attleborough is on the eastern side of England there. And there's Attleborough, so it's found somewhere in a field in this general vicinity. So it could have been in any of these fields here. But very interesting indeed. The old country and what can be found there. So back to the story, Mr. Pratt said he was made some finds which were of archaeological interest, but this one was bling, he says. Mr. Pratt, who lives near the town, says it appeared to be a golden bottle top, but when I looked closer, I found it to be something far more significant. I recognize it to be a gold pendant. It's extremely rare. Very few have been found in the United Kingdom. Mr. Pratt, who's been metal detecting for 6 years, said he was known at his club as the King of Bling because of the trinkets I bring in, but he had never previously found gold. He has since informed the Norfolk Historical Environmental Record, HER, wow, what an acronym, and the county's museum service about his discovery. And so it sounds like that's a local agency there, and I'm wondering if the HER is maybe a nod to Queen Elizabeth. Who knows? But nonetheless, you can see here's an image from taken by Godfrey Pratt of the piece in the ground. And he said he knew the find was interesting when he set eyes upon it, because gold is one of those metals that does not deteriorate, it does not tarnish, and it maintains its luster throughout. The only thing, of course, we know that gold can sometimes happen even with the purest of golds and some what's known as like a sort of a copper red spotting on it. Finds officer Adrian Marston said it was rare and made from high quality gold, which means it's probably over 90% is my guess. Mr. Marston said the piece of jewelry had possibly gone to the ground in a burial, probably as a very much loved pendant. He said it could indicate that there was a cemetery on the field where it was found. There could be more stuff out there. Time will tell, said Dr. Marston. Mr. Pratt started searching the site with a team of the Norfolk Heritage Recovery Group in Norwich as part of a project approved by the Norfolk HER, H-E-R. The pendant will go to the coroner and then to the British Museum for valuation. So it will essentially go to the government, and that seems to be the common thread of these type of finds, as they eventually make their way to museums or governments or valuations. So essentially, who knows? You know, I'm kind of remiss because it seems like that in each one of these cases, when it goes to get evaluated or what have you, more likely government's going to get their hands on it. So it'll be interesting to see how the story turns out, but my guess is we probably heard the last, but very fascinating piece indeed, and you can kind of tell by the markings on the piece that it is from that era, the Byzantine era. But Nonetheless, there it is, a treasure find. And thank you again, John, for sending this article to me. And it was sent, by the way, in sort of as a reminder that gold is everlasting. This thing has was probably been in the ground for 1,500 years. And just like every piece of gold that we own, whether it be a 10th ounce, a gram, or 5 ounces, or what have you, it will always remain constituted as gold, even if it comes in a different form. If there's a huge fire, God forbid, it may melt and it may go into the ground, but nonetheless, it is recoverable and eventually can be found. It's pretty much, if there, whatever gold pieces are out there, they do not deteriorate. And that's the fascinating portion, a piece of what has attracted those who have mined it since the early days, and why it's been used and treasured for so long. So gold is amazing, an amazing metal, and silver is too, but it just so happens this gleaming piece here, and the characteristics of it in the ground that we saw in this other picture is really quite fascinating to see. And it's amazing the contrast there, and being in the ground for so long, and yet it shines bright. Post your thoughts about this particular story below. I'd like to extend the multitude of gratitude to y'all for watching, and encourage you to please rate, comment, and subscribe.